This week I've been driving the 2023 Mazda CX-9. The CX-9 is a mid-size crossover SUV, 7-passenger, 3-row from Mazda. And this CX-9 is in its second generation, but really hasn't been updated all that often. So after a full week in it, there's not a ton new from the last time I drove it, but we're gonna go through the entire vehicle and let you know what I think about the CX-9 in 2023. Let's get into it. In terms of the CX-9 include a Touring, a Touring Plus, a Carbon Edition, a Grand Touring, and what we have here is the Signature, the top of the line. Taking a look at the exterior here, first off, this is the Soul Red Crystal Metallic paint on this thing. It is a $595 option, which is the only option on this Signature. Overall, the design is a very Mazda design. It's got the Mazda grille, Mazda shape, that Mazda design language. But like I said, the design, the interior, the powertrain, not much has been updated over the past few years, so it looks very familiar. The front grille here in the Signature is a titanium gray metallic finish, and I think it looks really good up there. Then you also have chrome surrounding the grille. You have chrome on the front, the side, and the rear lower body moldings. Our headlights are LED headlights with auto on off and auto height control. They are part of an adaptive front lighting system, which you get on the Signature. We have LED daytime running lights. We also have LED accent lighting on the grille. Our side mirrors here are body colored power side mirrors with integrated LED turn signals. They are heated and they are auto power folding mirrors, so they auto fold on lock, which is a feature I love. We have LED combination taillights around the back, dual exhaust outlets with larger pipes here on the Signature. We have a body colored rear roof spoiler and aluminum roof rails with a satin chrome finish. Our wheels on this are 20-inch by 8.5-inch aluminum alloy wheels with P255/50 R20 all-season tires. Looking at the size of this crossover, we have a 115.3-inch wheelbase, 199.4-inch total length, 75.5-inch width, 69.0-inch height, and an 8.8-inch ground clearance. All solid numbers for this size of vehicle. Again, there's not too much to say about this exterior design. I do like it. It looks good. One of the more sporty and really good looking crossovers in this segment. And with that, let's open up the hatch and check out the cargo area here. It is a power lifting hatch. It's also hands-free on the Signature. But looking at the cargo volume, you do have a good amount of space here. Definitely a usable amount of space, even with the third row up. And that's definitely not always the case with the mid-size crossover segment. With that third row up, you have 14.4 cubic feet of cargo volume. And again, it is a very usable space. You can fold that third row down and get 38.2 cubic feet. And if you fold the third and second row down, you're looking at 71.2 cubic feet total cargo volume. And with that, let's close it back up and move on to what powers the CX-9. All trims get the same Skyactiv G 2.5 liter turbocharged engine. This pushes 227 horsepower, 320 pound-feet of torque. It's matched up to a 6-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters and a sport mode. All models come with iActive all-wheel drive with an off-road assist mode, and the full setup can tow up to 3,500 pounds. It's a pretty solid engine, a really nice transmission. We'll talk more about that as we drive it, but before we drive it, let's jump into the rear seats, and then we'll jump into the front seats and talk about the interior. All right, guys, let's take a look at the rear seats here. First off, the middle row, really nice. You can see we have the dual captain's chairs with the console in the middle. We'll get to that in just a second. But to get into the back seats, it's just a pull tab up here. It goes forward and slides forward, and that's plenty of room to get into those rear seats. And I'm sure you can see here, there is room for smaller kids back here, these seats can move forward or back. You can fit kids back here, you can fit adults back here in a pinch, but it's not one of the bigger rear seats in the class, but it's also not the smallest, it's average. And we'll jump in from this side to give you a clue on just how big it is. Yeah, not the most graceful for a 6'1" adult. Obviously, bigger guy, but like I said, in a pinch, you could fit back here. I do have to duck down. The roof line is too short. My knees are super close, and that's not terrible for knee room. Of course, that leaves less knee room for the middle seat or driver. Decent enough back here. You do have USB ports, you do have cup holders and cubbies, and all in all, the rear seats are decently comfortable. All right, while the third row is second row, really nice. Got plenty of headroom here, plenty of knee and foot room here. These seats are incredibly nice. Nice quilted and perforated leather. They are heated seats. We've got our own AC and heat controls back here with our own vents. All in all, really nice seats, and I wouldn't mind taking a long trip here in the middle row. We also have here something that's unique to this signature, which is the center console in the rear seat. So you can get the captain's chairs in other trims, or you can get a bench that allows you to have this as a 7-passenger. With the captain's chairs, you're limited to 6-passenger, but all the other trims have a walking pass-through here. It is the signature that has this center console, and it's a center console. You've got USB charging here. Here's the buttons for your heated seats, cup holders, obviously. So if you're using this thing as a third row in a pinch, you might have those seats folded down most of the time, so you got more cargo room. These are great captain's chairs with a nice console. Now let's jump up in the driver's seat, check out the tech and the rest of the interior, and then we'll take it for a drive. All right, guys, here in the front seats, first off, these seats and the interior. These are the white Napa trim leather seats with perforated leather, quilted leather, super nice, comfortable seats. Driver position, really good. Heated and cooled seats. We've got a heated steering wheel. We'll get back to that in just a second. We have aluminum trim pieces with a unique design in it. And we have genuine Santos rosewood inlays around the shifter and window controls. Interior in here is really good. All right, and let's kick it on. This is a push button start. So brake down, push button. Our infotainment screen here is a 10.25-inch screen. It is not touch, so you have to control it with the rotary knob down here. This is a decision that Mazda has made on basically all of their vehicles. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto available here, and it's not a huge screen, but it's decent enough for this vehicle. It's in a good position, so you don't have to take your eyes far off the road if you're trying to navigate it. And it only takes a week or so to really get used to using the rotary dial here. I've driven enough Mazdas and played with this enough that I'm pretty comfortable with it, but it definitely might take you a while if you're used to only touch screens, but obviously you can get used to it. We do have a 360 camera in here with the backup camera. We'll put it into reverse. You can quickly see that backup camera doesn't really have guidelines as you turn the steering wheel, but then you've got your 360 as well. Really good for a larger SUV like this. You can also engage that camera with a button over here. So if you don't want to put it into reverse, but you want to check your parking, you can still do that. Below that screen is your vents with your hazard lights, heated steering wheel button, and AC and heat controls here. Down below that is a cubby you can throw your phone. It does have a wireless charger down here as well, so it'll start wirelessly charging your phone. You've got a traditional gear shifter here. Right here is for your drive mode, so you do have a sport mode in this and just a normal mode. Electronic parking brake, auto hold, and then all your infotainment controls right here. Right behind that is your cup holders, decent sized cup holders, and a nice big console here with your charging ports as well as your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto interface. Steering wheel is really nice, as you might imagine. Nice grippy steering wheel. No flat bottom, so it's not the sporty flat bottom steering wheels. You do have your controls on it for everything that you need, and your paddle shifters back here. They're just plastic paddle shifters attached to the steering wheel, nothing too special there. Back behind that, you get 2 analog gauges and then a 7-inch center LCD screen. Nothing too fancy, but it works, it looks nice. We also do have a head-up display, kind of the same thing, nothing too fancy. Hasn't been updated, not a huge screen, not a ton of information, but you can see your speed, your cruise control. It shows the speed of the road that you're on. I will touch on one more thing down here. You can see the red line here. Obviously that moves as you change the speed of the road you're on, because this is an LCD panel. So although you have these small tick marks, it's really easy to see exactly what speed you're going and compared to the speed of the road. I do like this feature. I know it's not new, but I've come more and more to really like it. We also do have the Bose Centerpoint surround sound system with audio pilot and 12 speakers. Sounds pretty good in here. We also do have a basic sunroof, no panoramic sunroof or anything, but basic sunroof, manual shade here. But with that, I think it's time to get this thing out on the road, start talking about how it drives. Then we'll pull back over, talk about the price and competition and some of my final thoughts. Let's continue the review. So first off, the drive of this is pretty comfortable. It's not super stiff or anything, but it's stiffer than a lot of other crossovers that you might drive. It's got that zoom kind of heritage from Mazda. And although the 227 horsepower doesn't sound like a lot, it can still get this 3-row crossover up and going pretty easily. Of course, we can put it into that sport mode and you can hear it get up and go. Doesn't have a super nice exhaust sound or anything like that, but it's decent. And like I said, it gets up and goes. You don't have to worry about being on the highway and not being able to pass people or not being able to get up to speed, even out of a sport mode. It's a little bit more laggy, but you can still push it. Fuel economy is rated at 20 city, 26 highway. We're averaging about 21, 22 miles per gallon, but we do a lot of idling and we haven't done a whole lot of highway mileage on this thing. So it sounds about right. We have that iActive all-wheel drive system, which is made for road conditions. You can put it into an off-road terrain mode, and you've got a button on this side of the steering wheel for that, but you're not really buying this to be an off-roading vehicle, in my opinion. If you are, there's much better options out there. But if you need to park in the grass or go over a hill, this will definitely do it. 8.8-inch ground clearance is good, and if it gets a little bit sticky and you need to put it in that off-road mode, it'll help out a bit. And again, while I haven't had the CX-9 off-road, I have used that same off-road terrain mode in the CX-30 and the CX-50. Both of them worked wonderful.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's a good angle. Yeah, straighten them out.
We also do have a lot of good safety features like radar guided cruise control, blind spot monitoring. You've got a rear cross traffic alert for when you're backing up. You've got lane guidance, although it's not a system that you can set and just drive kind of hands-free. So much like a lot of the rest of this review has gone, it's a bit of an older feeling system compared to some of the newer stuff out there, but it all works really good and looks really good. And I think one of the things that really makes the CX-9 shine is just its driving dynamics. It's really a great driving vehicle. The get up and go is good. The steering feel is really good. The suspension feels really good if you're used to more of a sporty vehicle. In that case, it's got quite a bit going for it. Now, do you need a 3-row crossover that is sporty feeling? It's not the only one, but it's fun. With that, let's go ahead and find a place to pull back over. We'll talk about the price, the competition out there. I'll give you some of my final thoughts, and we'll wrap the video up there. Let's go. All right, so we've taken a look at the exterior, we've looked at the back seats, the interior, we're taking it for a drive. Let's talk about the price, some of the competition, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Starting off with the price, the base MSRP for a base CX-9 is $38,750. It's definitely not in the cheapest range. You can get 3-row SUVs for just around $30,000. Notably, the Volkswagen Atlas is a really great 3-row SUV for families that comes in just around $31,000 at its base price. Of course, this is the signature, so it's the top of the line, and it is $48,460. So there's only a $10,000 jump from the very base to the very top of the line, which tells you that all the trims are actually really nice here. Our vehicle here only has one option at $595 for the paint job, which with destination puts the MSRP at $50,330. Now, there are a slew of crossovers in this segment, which is a great thing, especially for families, because it was hard to find for a while a vehicle in this segment. But we have the Toyota Highlander, which has been around for a while and is really good. It was recently updated. The Ford Explorer, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, which now has the L, so it does have a 3-row option, which we definitely reviewed recently. You can go check that one out. The Kia Telluride and Hyundai Palisade, both which I really like. You have the Chevy Traverse, the Honda Pilot, the Buick Enclave, the Subaru Accent, the new Nissan Pathfinder, which I also have a review out, the Volkswagen Atlas, which I've owned and still to this day recommend for families looking for a 3-row SUV, and then the Dodge Durango, which again, I've reviewed plenty of times on this channel and is a decent thing. More of a masculine SUV, especially if you're getting like the RT or above, but it's going to be more pricey. All right, with that, let's jump out. I'll give you some of my final thoughts on this thing. Would I recommend it for families, being a family guy? And we'll wrap up the video there. All right, guys, so that's a full week with the Mazda CX-9. It's a 3-row 7-passenger crossover. This one happens to be the 6-passenger version. But if you know anything about me and my family, I really like 3-row SUVs. I've owned 3-row SUVs. We own a minivan now, but I do have enough kids that we fill it up. So I really like when I get 3-row SUVs to test. And from a family man's perspective, this is a really fun, really nice looking crossover, but not quite the size that I would want for a 3-row crossover. It is a bit tight in that 3rd row for the kids. 2nd row can be even tight depending on who's behind the driver's seat. And with all the seats up, you have usable space for groceries and stuff, but anything bigger, you'll definitely need more cargo volume. But for the most part, I think it's really good. If you're using the 3rd row in a pinch or just every once in a while, I think it'll be just fine. So if you really like the design, you like what Mazda's been doing, I could definitely recommend it. I would definitely see if maybe they're gonna do something new soon, but who knows? With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the CX-9. Let me know which of the competitors you might get over this if you're not getting the CX-9. Also, go check out TXGARAGE.com, where we've got a lot of great authors over there publishing written reviews as well as event and news coverage. Lots of great stuff going on at TXGARAGE.com. But with that, guys, thanks for watching.